I have to come off a little strong to begin with to keep myself safe. So I'm just pretty much speaking the horse's language, posturing. I might throw a kick at them, simulate a bite. Even if they're not aggressive, I just want them to know that I know how to communicate with them. This horse came here last year. Here I'm asking her to go around the cones. This task teaches them to follow a feel. Why the chicken cross the road? Teaches them to follow a feel, so I can move her front end, send her around the cone. She's a little heavy in her face. Send her over to the fence. Then I'm going to pull and release with my left hand. Pull and release, and drive the hip. This mare, when I first asked her to back up, probably a couple weeks before this video, she'd rear up, come at me a little bit, and go left and right, and zip, zip, wee. So here she's listening, still a little, what's the word? Not sure, but she's getting better. A little like Pushy, you know, throwing her head out against the pressure. I think at the end of this you might see her being a little more stubborn, but so I'm asking her to come in, just doing some basic groundwork before I get on her, because she had I think she had 2 years off without doing anything. So sweetheart, if you just go in the pen and pet her, brush her, not aggressive in the stall, but ask her to back up, and oh boy, she didn't like it. Not near as bad as the horse I work with today that reared probably 40 times when I asked her to back up. She was a lot smaller than this one. So I try to give them a pet when they're behaving themselves. A lot of times when I ask them to do something that they haven't had to do, they get all stressed and snotty and snorty, and so I want to take my energy down and praise them for just a little try, but I'm going to correct them for any attitude. So here I'm showing how to get her to move over to the right, away from me, yield. Not an easy move to do, so I'm looking up, I have to spank her up and then over sideways. So I didn't just hit her, I suggest before contact is ever made. But most horses aren't used to going away to the right from you, so big shocker for her. She's like, wait, I've never had to do that. But it teaches them to yield to a human's feet and not crowd. Mostly they want to take that shoulder and run it into you, which when I went to visit her at her farm before she came here, yeah, she was driving me and crowding me and running into me and refusing to do anything. So she got a rude awakening. Coming here again, sweetheart, if you don't ask her to do anything. I've ridden her since this video, I don't know, maybe 10 times, if that. And very heavy in her face. Didn't want to yield on her body. But she's getting better. On the trail, she's actually not bad because she's not afraid of anything. She's not spooky. She's just, she thinks she needs to be the boss. So this was just a few sessions in when she first moved here last year. Again, much better, but she's been off all winter. So I'll pick back up with her again. Coming up soon, maybe we'll have some follow-up video footage. Here's some more. Oh, so I'm just showing how to get her to go over the side, and then I'm going to show you what not to do. So I go a little left to turn right, and making her yield her front end out of my way, which she's not too happy about there. So I would use my right hand to pull toward my hip, and then cross my feet over to get her to go away from me. I'm looking where I'm going. She yields nicely there to get out of my way. Very nice there. So she should be watching where my feet are. I shouldn't be worrying about her coming into my space, stepping on my feet, or trying to drive my feet. Bottom line is whoever moves the other one's feet, that's nice, is the boss. I'm giving her some praise there for a good job. So here is how she was normally led. Tight line, so when you stop, that's what happens. People wonder why their horse is on top of them. When you pull back to stop, it just brings that horse's head in towards you. So, and also their shoulder in. So that's what happens right there, what I'm showing you, by having that tight rein on them. Now I've got back to loose here, but I still pulled her when I stopped. Okay, now what? Oh, we're descending her kind of like a lunge, and then disengaging her hindquarters. So just teaching her follow the feel, be soft. Come in here for a pet, and then I'm gonna back her out, back her up. Excuse me, long day, wrestling some horses. So it's 1-2, sucks to be you. That wiggle is a very good cue. And now I'm asking her to go to the right. I turn my head right, put a feel in that rope with my right hand, and twirl the tail in the left. So when I'm disengaging the hindquarter, I want to pull and release with one hand and slap with the other with the tail of the lead rope. So, but most importantly, I want to look where I want her to go. Just like if I'm riding, I look out where I want to go. So I look, lead out with my left hand, send her with the right, and the moment she tries, I stop twirling that rope. I'll then pull and release with the left hand and drive her with the right. Drive the hip away. So I look where I want her to go, reach out with my right hand, send her with the left, and I'm going to pull and release with my right hand, pull and let go, and drive her hip. Backing her up. So I'm using the stick there to back her up, and if she doesn't, right there she's trying to cut class. So here's at the end where she's being fresh, and I have to back her off of me. She just wants to leave, so she would be able to drag me all over and just run away. So that's why I keep bumping that face and looking at the hip to get her stopped, but then I have to follow it with a back up so she doesn't come over the top of me. She just goes, I want to be out of here. But she needs to be soft in her face and listening. So when she gets fresh or rough, I have to match that. And maybe a little more, because, you know, she's a tank. She could drag me, come over the top of me. I just met her. So I can't let her get away with that. You know, I'm not asking her to go on an 8-hour cattle drive in the Arizona sun, you know, in 110 or something. I'm just asking her to follow a feel, back up, go this way, go that way. Just quiet stuff. I'm not asking her to canter. Just asking her to walk, change direction, be soft in your face, move that hindquarters, don't drag me. And what do we got here now? Oh, this is first time I got on her at the farm. Because I sat on her for a second at her place. So I'm on her here with, I think, a rope halter. And bareback the saddle that she had come with. The stirrups were way too long. They had to be for a very tall person. It just didn't fit her right, so we've since got a new saddle. So I'm one rein stop, hold and wait till she stops her feet, and then give her a release, and then ask her to bring her head back to my boot. Look where I'm going, and then shut her down to the other side. Exhale, sit deep, and feed the opposite rein forward, so the right hand would go forward. She's not ever been ridden without a bit, so a lot of times she's putting her head down looking for the bit. She's very heavy in her face. I rode her with a bit and she just plow right through it. Didn't have any more control. Actually, it was worse with the bit than without it. Hold steady pressure till she backs off and release. So again, this is my first time riding her at the farm, so I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know how strong she's going to get. I don't know if she's going to try to bolt, get sick of me telling her what to do, because her ground manners were horrible. Not horrible if you didn't ask her to do anything. If you just dragged her along, you wouldn't see it. But, you know, you start to ask a horse to do something, all of a sudden you got a sleeping giant, and they're going to tell you no in a big way. So, no neck right. When she is a Fjord, her mane's not trimmed up. Slide down, stop riding. I totally let go of the outside rein. A lot of times people will hold it and they can't get their head around if you're holding that outside rein. So you can have it in your hand, but you got to feed that hand forward so you're not holding it. And coming up is another video of me riding her. This was last year. It's 2018 when we shot this footage. I had taken her over that bridge on the ground, which took some doing because she didn't want to go over it. I don't force them to go over it. Once I got her to go over it on the ground, then she went right over under saddle, or bareback as it were. This is from the bitless bridle. She's not the best candidate for it because she's so heavy in her face. And I went back to rope halter I don't want to ride in the bitless, the Dr. Cook's or any bitless bridle unless I have more control than I would have in a bit. And so she wasn't great in the bit, pushed through it, wasn't great in Dr. Cook's. Best, the most powerful for me is a rope halter until they are taught to give in that bridle. My horse is very soft. Dr. Cook's bitless bridle or a rope halter.
Pulling against it there.
Anyways, hope you got something out of the video.